Hi, we're here today with Marcus Gnirck at the World Wealth Creation Conference. And so first of all, we want to share a bit about your history.
Yeah, hi, thanks for having me today. Marcus, I'm based in Singapore. I live here for 3 years now. I've been in technology for almost a decade now. I have been doing technology in China, Germany, London, and Singapore. For the last 5 years, I've been in Fintech in London and Singapore, where I've built a company called Startup Bootcamp Fintech, which was an incubator for fintech companies, the global one, to be honest, with 150 companies in our portfolio. Now we're with Tribe. Tribe is an investment holding company here in Singapore. We acquire, develop, operate technology infrastructure companies for financial services in ASEAN.
Okay, wonderful. So why did you decide to go from the startup bootcamp to an investment platform?
Yeah, I think fintech goes through many different waves,
Yeah.
and you have seen how startups are disrupting or perceived disrupting the space. You have, I think, in the West, many companies starting to change the banking system. You can see in China, India, how things are moving.
Yeah.
At the same time, I also realized that startups in fintech have a bit of a scalability issue. I think that startups are challenged by incumbents and are also challenged by the big tech giants, Alibaba and Tencent. So I felt like I need to work with more established, more growth stage companies that have reached scale, have reached cash flow. So with Tribe, we're focusing mainly on more mid-market type established companies that we can acquire and can roll out further to ASEAN. And then we also partner and invest in early stage companies that have strategic fit with our core platforms we're acquiring. So I think we leave the startup game to the VCs and to other investors who can scale up the companies. We're coming in from the other angle, from the top, to say how can we then, after the rebundling has happened, how things have been unbundled, how can we rebundle again? So we like the rebundling game of later stage companies.
Okay. And why did you pick ASEAN versus another location?
I think ASEAN is the next frontier market in Southeast Asia and globally. I think where we have the West happening with B2B models, you have payments in India and in China. I think you have 650 people here in the region. Many of them are unbanked, and many businesses and consumers are yet to be included in financial systems. You have markets like Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia who are fairly established. You have Indonesia, Philippines, and Myanmar, for example, who are very underdeveloped. So there's a very distinct mix of transformation, inclusion, and disruption happening that I would say is unique in the world. And you can see the growth rates of all this space is just tremendously high. So I like to be in Singapore, but at the same time also operate a lot of the technology companies in the region here.
Okay, wonderful. So what innovations or technologies are you finding interesting right now?
I think there's a difference between business models and technologies.
Okay.
I think you see how technology companies are challenging the bank's business model. You can see how transaction banking particularly, so the infrastructure, the existing silos of the banks, the business models are not working out anymore. That's where startups, technology companies come in to change business models. I wouldn't say technology is a big factor there. It's just that business models have been changed. The way you seek and you distribute capital has just been changing now. It's getting cheaper and cheaper. I think that the main factor is also regulations around this who allow innovation to happen. Technology-wise, it's exciting to see that Southeast Asia finally you can see where paper moves to the cloud. Nothing really exciting, but it changed a lot how business is done. That regulators are allowing to host the data domestically on clouds is a big change for finance. So we believe a lot into cloud technologies. You cannot ignore anymore the whole blockchain piece. I think that's where the cross-border aspect comes in. Southeast Asia is 10 countries, as we know, very fragmented. To move capital from A to B, from country to country, you need a new infrastructure, and blockchain could be one of them. Then the data piece, I think, is an obvious one. As soon as you move data from paper to the cloud, you have big data, and that's where you can see more and more underwriting mechanisms as credit scoring technology coming up that would allow to rate SMEs and consumers more accurately.
Okay, so that leads me into my next question, which is, so what are your thoughts on cryptocurrency and ICOs? Because that seems to be the popular topic nowadays.
The flavor of the month. Yeah. It's I think that's it's in everyone's mouth, and the press is now obviously very bullish on Bitcoin, just going almost close to $10,000. I think again, as always, you have cryptocurrencies. That's it's a use case.
Yeah.
You have blockchain technology, and you have now, which I find interesting, cryptoeconomic models coming up that is connected to ICOs. So ICOs is, a crowd token sale allows a company to establish a cryptoeconomic model that tokenizes data.
Okay.
Yeah? So a token basically allows the monetization of data.
Okay.
And that, I think, is very interesting to look at. Technology of blockchain will be in transaction banking, post-trade, pre-trade, many different ways.
And how's that different from smart contracts, the tokenization of...
Smart contracts is a way to describe tokenization. This is part of it.
Okay.
So tokenization is a broader topic
Okay.
to tokenize an asset or a data point, and smart contract is an execution of that to write it onto the blockchain.
Okay.
So I think that's connected, but I'm more excited that you can really see companies establishing their models around cryptoeconomic economies where they operate with data points in their own cryptoeconomic world without anyone touching the fiat or the current financial systems. So that, I think, is a new way of looking at it, and you can see many companies, established ones and small ones, looking into how they can become more cryptoeconomic. You have obviously startups doing ICOs to get into cryptoeconomic models. You have companies like Facebook and Alibaba, I guess, at some point they're evaluating this to get into more tokenized data points.
Very interesting. I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
So I guess lastly, what's your advice on creating wealth in the present day?
Yeah, I think obviously I would say invest in fintech, but I'm biased here. I think creating wealth is a very big topic. I think everyone should stick to what they do know. Read as much as possible. Go to conferences to learn more. Speak to others there. Start by doing small checks. I myself, I'm an angel investor, so I started years ago to put small checks in different companies, and you just learn by doing that. But also, I think everyone should feel more comfortable in trying things out. So having a diversified portfolio with high risk assets and then also low risk, that gives you certainly more, I think, diversity. Given that there are going to be some turmoil coming up in global markets, you're going to make sure that you are part of all the different flows out there.
Yeah. And then lastly, so year to date from birth, what was your best investment?
My best investment? I invested in tech companies, and I have had fundamental, very interesting returns there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been lucky to find great, good founders who execute very well, and they made me very happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not one particular one.
You look at my LinkedIn, you can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time, Marcus,
Thank you.
today.
Pleasure. Thank you. Great.
Is that okay?
Yeah.